Home Buyers Month, week 3. We're talking about credit, budget, coaching. Thank you guys so much for joining us again on week 3. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. We're here talking about um, credit restoration, budgeting, credit. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. I'm getting my girl Renee in here. Welcome, 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 everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today is week 3 of our home buying thing. Hey, Renee, that's my girl, Renee.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, hey.
Can you hear me
So,
this week?
yeah, I can hear you. Can y'all
Oh,
hear?
maybe we should ask in the chat.
Yeah, can
Can
y'all
you?
give me a thumbs up if you can hear Renee well? Give me a thumbs up or heart or something and let me know, you guys. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Maria.
Hey,
Hey,
Lisa and Maria.
Miss Nikki Sells in DMV. Hey. Hey, Tubbs. Hey, Dolores. Um, hey, Kevana. So can y'all hear Renee real good this week? Okay, I see it. I'm a little slow, y'all. Okay, good, 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 good. So this week we're talking about, of course, it's Home Buyers Month. June is Home Buyers Month. Thanks, Tubbs. This is Home Buyers Month. So we have a special guest. Thanks, Lisa. Um, we have a special guest who's going to talk about budget and credit coaching. But first, we want to, Renee, tell a little bit about yourself again for some of the new people who are joining us.
Okay, so hey everybody, it's Renee Johnson. I am a realtor and associate broker for Virtual Properties Realty in the Renee J Group here in Atlanta, Georgia. Been in real estate for 20 plus years. Investor, like I said, realtor, associate broker, mom of 2, wife, grandma. In addition to being a realtor, I also have designations in SRS with seller representative specialist. I'm an ABS, an accredited buyers specialist, a RENE, which is technically not Renee, but a real estate negotiation expert. So definitely take what I do seriously, educate myself all that I can to be the most I can to all of my clients. So if you know of anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in Atlanta, Georgia, the metro area, I'm your girl.
Yeah. Thanks, Renee. Thanks. So we have been doing it. This is our 3rd week since it's the month of June, talking about different things. Last week we had someone come on talking about the rent with option to buy. This week we have a person talking about budgeting and your credit. Next week, we're going to have loan officers come from the DMV area, from where I'm a realtor in Atlanta area, where Renee is. But a little bit about myself. Good afternoon, Christine. I am a realtor, been a full-time realtor for 18 years now. Love it, love it, love it. I am an associate broker. I am an investor. I am a certified probate agent too. What else? I'm with Fathom Realty. I'm the district director. One of my jobs is to recruit people. Hi, hello world. Um, I am also a wife, and I am a mother of 4 wonderful adult children now, ages 29, about to be 23, 20, and 19. And I have a beautiful, about to be 5-year-old granddaughter. So that's it about me, a little bit about me. But we have a passion for serving and helping people. And we want to just educate more people about, since this is Home Buyers Month, just to tell people a little bit about the different things. So I'm going to bring on did you have anything else, Renee, you wanted to add before I bring on our
No,
special guest today?
no,
Okay.
bring her on in the room.
All right. So let's get to the good stuff. I am going to invite Dolores in to join us.
Yay!
Wait a minute. I think I did accept. Okay.
There
There
she
she is. Hey, Dolores.
goes!
How's it going?
Good, good, good. So let me just share a little bit about Miss Dolores Sherman. She is the groundbreaking, renowned speaker, teacher, and financial advocate behind Faith, Finance, and FICA scores. Her desire is to see that everyone rise above their current economic situation and drive her teaching, which drives her to teaching and speaking. Some of the things, she has personal stories and experiences of who she's helped, what she's done, and she's helping people become debt free, helping people to budget more. You know, her main saying is becoming debt free happens one day, $1, one decision at a time. As an expert, I mean, she does the field of finance, personal finances, wealth management. She has a wonderful system that I love that emails you all the time about different stuff about credit, if you're not ready for credit. But she offers so much, and I just love her dearly. But her main thing is she started her own business to fulfill personal life purposes. She created faith, finance, and FICO scores to basically help everyone do better. You know more. When you know more, you do better. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yes, yes. So welcome, Dolores. Hi, interview
Welcome.
team, and hi, Diana, Delicious Delight. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. So Dolores, the floor is yours. Well, the screen is yours.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
Appreciate the invitation. I'm always happy to talk about budget and credit. I can talk about that more than I can probably say my name or tie my shoes. It's something that hit me, and I thank God for it. So I want to encourage all of your viewers, if you have questions, ask them. We'll try to see if we can answer as many of them as we can. If we don't have time, then I'll reach out to you afterwards. All right. But as Asia said, my company is called Helping Others Progress Economically. And I opened my company back in 2009 because I thought to myself, it shouldn't be this hard. You know, I am a University of Rhode Island graduate where I earned a certificate.
Go Rhodey. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. My son went to URI, so go Rhodey. I'm sorry. I had to throw that in there.
Family financial counseling and planning is what I focused on. I am a lifetime certified educator through the National Foundation of Credit Counseling. I worked for Consumer Credit Counseling for 5 years, where I did debt management plans, bankruptcy and bankruptcy counseling. I facilitated the first-time home buyers course. And in that time, though, I realized that this is not a one-size-fits-all approach. You can't really help people get from where they are to where they want to be in a 45-minute phone call. And so in 2009, I created Helping Others Progress Economically, or HOPE. And under the HOPE umbrella, I have several platforms. So that is the faith-based faith, finance, and FICO scores. For home ownership, it's the There's No Place Like Home Buyers Club. And then I also do employee assistance planning services, where I provide budget counseling. So today, you're welcome to ask whatever questions you want, but I'm going to focus in on the home buyer. This is June, and June is National Home Buyers Month. And can I tell you guys something? I know everybody has been pinned into the news, right? Everything is up. Gas prices are up. Housing costs are up. I just saw where they expect the electric bills to go up 50%. Everything's up. And I am so excited because this is the time in my own personal life years ago when I had to get myself together. I was in my own personal recession. I wasn't making enough money to cover my housing costs. And I can't leave out my face. I'm sorry. I got to be me. I sat down one day and I said, God, what do I do? And he gave me the answer. Now, I always tell people when I work with them, I can show you better than I can tell you. So I am that credit counselor. I'm going to put my money in my mouth. I'm going to show you my credit report. So when I say that I'm debt free, that you believe it, that it's because I had never heard it before.
Hey, Dolores, you're going in and out some. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Because they're saying you're going in and out. I mean, I got a text and you're going in and out.
I'll try talking up.
Okay.
So in the middle of a bad situation, I remember crying and praying through my tears and saying, God, what do I do? And the answer that he gave me worked. And it's so simple. It's something everybody does. You all know how to do this. You just don't recognize that it's a transferable life skill. And so when I work with my clients, I let them know that debt free really does happen one day, $1, one decision at a time. And I walk them through that because having good credit is not enough. Owning a home is not enough. That should be the foundation that you continue to build on. Like you listen to and you listen to Renee and they talk about all of the things that they're doing and how it's moving their family forward. That's what you have to do. You've got to make progress economically. So because this is June and June is National Home Ownership Month, I wanted to take some time to talk about the elephant in the room. What do we do in order to improve our score? Because if you can't get past the score, you can't get to the application. And even after the application, you need to know how to manage and maintain your credit score so that because on the day of somewhere in that window, what ladies, about 24, 48 hours, they're going to run your credit again.
Mm-hmm.
And what it looks like on the day that it got approved, needs to look like that on the day that you get ready to close. So helping my clients build their credit, repair it, and maintain it is my focus. So let's talk about what that looks like. So everybody's got 5 fingers on their hand, right? Each of these fingers can convey a message. So if I did like this, what am I saying? Put it in the comments. What's the signal for what?
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Back down.
Thumbs down.
Okay.
Come to me. Down. Or I can point to something. If I leave out just the vertical part of the cross, I'm saying something different. A ring on this finger sends a message to the world that you are committed. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you really want to invoke a promise, you might pinky to it. So just like these 5 fingers can convey a message, your credit score and its 5 factors are also talking about you. And you have to understand what they're saying. And that's what I tell my clients. So the 5 factors that make up your credit score are your payment history. That is worth, so the perfect credit score, and if you guys have access to a calculator or something, do the math with me. So the perfect credit score is 850. But everyone starts at least up 300. If you have a 100% on-time payment history, congratulations, you just earned 192.5 points. The second factor is credit card utilization. What that means is how much of a credit limit was extended to you, and out of that credit limit, how much are you using? Now, they tell you in these credit fees, don't go over 30%. Listen to me close. Having credit and having debt are not the same thing, which is why I teach my clients that you can be debt-free and still own a home. This is what I push my yes.
So I want you to repeat. I want you to take your time and repeat those first 2 things that you just said, because I think it's very important. This, like you said, this is the foundation. This is the base. If your credit score is not intact when it comes to having or trying to purchase a home, you're not going to get there. You're not going to get there. And so people need to really, everybody on here, anybody watching the replay, it really has to understand that without this, there's nothing we can't do, which is, or can do, which is why, me personally, I'm sure Asia is the same. We're not going to look at anything until you can talk to, okay, somebody says me, Renee going in and out, or you just said she going in and out, but who's going in and out? Text who? Name. I'll start talking. Hello world. Who's going in and out? Because I don't want to necessarily do like last week, where we just keep talking. Who's going in and out? If anybody can type it in the chat.
comment. Mm. Nobody is saying. I don't see anything coming up on mine.
It says on mine that she's going in and out, but it doesn't say who. Oh, the coach was going in and out. Okay. So I definitely want to say the speaker. Okay. So I don't know. Are you on headsets or?
No.
Okay. But I did, and I'll let you finish talking so we can determine if, if it's you continually. But I definitely want everybody to hear what it is that you're trying to say, because it's the foundation, it's the beginning. If your credit is not intact, I'm not meeting you at anybody's property. If you haven't gotten a pre-qualification or pre-approval, I'm not meeting you anywhere. It may sound harsh, but just hear what we say when we say it. It's a waste of your time and everybody else's. If you can't qualify, I mean, you get out there, you fall in love with the house, and then it's like, oh man, I can't get it because I'm not qualified. And a lot of that begins with credit score. So please repeat the first two, because I also noticed that we got some other people joining us. So I want them to hear this. I see we have some younger folks joining us too. Hey, Kayla. Hey, Siani. Miles, I want y'all to hear this, because you say we can hear her, but it fades in and out, high to low when she is speaking. Okay, thank you so much, Diane. This is delight. So, but I want everybody to hear what you have to say, especially our millennials and Gen Z. They need to hear this, because they're next up, and we want them to be able to take advantage of having a piece of the American dream, which is becoming harder and harder to do, but it's still possible if you do the right things now and prepare yourself for when you're ready for that time. So please start over. Hopefully your volume won't continue to go in and out. If it does, you may want to pop off and just pop back on, because I know last week when I did that, it helped. But I want people to hear everything that you have to offer, because everything that's coming out of your mouth is key. So
yes.
All right. And I'll also try to forget. Hopefully that will help. I feel like I'm yelling, but if that's going to help people hear me better, then I'll try to be mindful to keep my volume up. So if you don't have the credit score, then there's nothing that anyone can do for you. But having credit and having debt are not the same thing. I can't stress that enough. I have more than enough clients, and my Instagram page is new. You know, the age is real, y'all. So I'm still on Facebook. But my clients, I express with them, let's work on this debt. Let's go into this mortgage. I'm in an ideal situation with just the car loan and maybe the mortgage being the only two debts. But you do not have to carry credit card balance. I never knew that debt-free was a thing until I can't leave my face out of it, because this is how I got to where I am. So I apologize. Well, I don't apologize if it offends anyone, because this is my story. It's my truth. So I went to church on a Wednesday night, and the pastor, this white Republican from Texas, of all things, is standing in front of the congregation, and he's talking about how after only 10 years, the church is debt-free. I don't know what he said after that, because I started having an internal conversation, and I said, God, debt-free? Is that a thing? I was like, you mean I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck? How does that happen? He gave me the answer. And I started working on what he said. Years would go by, and I would find myself in a situation where the house that I was renting, I kept getting robbed. In broad daylight, they carried my suitcases here down the street. I needed to move, but I didn't have the credit. And so through the tears, I cried, I prayed, I said, God, what do I do? He gave me step 2. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. You have to be able to do multiple things at the same time. if you're going to balance your credit and your finance. And that's a lifelong skill. So what he told me to do, something that I share with my clients, and it's a transferable skill. Everybody on here does it. You all do it. You just don't know that you can apply it to the finance. And so teaching my clients simple budgeting techniques allows them to pay off the credit card, or if they don't have credit cards, to obtain secured credit cards that I recommend. That one thing will catapult your score like you've never seen. There are 5 factors that make up your credit score. So everyone starts at the base of 300. If you pay all of your accounts on time, that's an additional 192.5 points. Let me tell you what's crazy about this.
You said 192 points if you pay your bills on time.
192.5.
92.5, okay.
Here's a crazy thing. Each factor is individual, just like each finger is individual. If you don't have a credit card balance, and that payment history is primarily predicated on the credit card. If you don't have a credit card balance, guess what? You always have a 100% on-time payment history. Mm-hmm. So you absolutely do not have to carry a credit card balance. The rule of thumb is that your account should be updated at least once every 6 months. You want to keep it active enough for the credit card holder not to close the account on you, but you do not have to carry a 30% balance. When I work with my clients one-on-one, because I'm a very visual teacher, we do the minimum monthly payment calculation, and I teach them APR. And if the credit card company has 100,000 clients, cardholders paying them $15 a month in interest, that's $1,500,000. Of course, they want you to believe you have to carry a credit card balance, but you do not. And so I show my clients my credit report that I have not carried a balance in probably 20 years, and my score is in the 800s. But you have to understand the FICO algorithm, and that's what I teach. The second factor is credit card utilization. This applies mainly to credit cards, and here's why. Loans are scored differently. Loans come with a set monthly payment over a defined period of time. So you're going to pay $120 a month for the next 36 months. Where loans become an issue is when you take out a loan, owe as much as borrowed, your score will initially drop. But as you pay the balance down, your score will increase because you now owe less than what you borrowed until you get to the place where that loan is paid off, and then your score will drop. It will eventually level itself off again, because I don't want anyone on here to think, oh, I got to hurry up and go get another loan. You don't. Just give it time to calibrate. It will. With credit cards, though, on credit card utilization, less is more. So how many of you are familiar with Credit Karma? Mm-hmm. So with Credit Karma, and they've changed a lot about their platform, but 0 to 9% is actually a sweet spot. If you had to carry a credit card balance, wouldn't you say 1 to 9%? But you can't have a zero balance. So the two things, and so if you're adding up the numbers, having your credit card utilization is 0 to 9% can gain you 165 points. Mm-hmm. Again, if you had to have a balance, it wouldn't say 0, but it does. If you do those two things, if you keep your credit card balance low, I'm sorry, let me get my calculator. If you keep your credit card balance low and you start with a base of 300, pay everything on time for 192.5 points, that's 657. Rounded up, that's a 658 FICO score. Just doing those two things. All you need is a 640. I just gave you guys everything you needed to know. So let's
We have a question. Before you go to your next thing, we have a question in the chat. How do you want us to handle questions? Would you prefer us to let you know what they are when you're done or as we go? Whatever you want to do.
You're gonna have to go.
As we go? Okay. So I do have someone asking, Miles. Hey, Miles, one of my bonus sons. He's asking, what is the ideal credit score you should have to start looking at houses?
So every lender has its own set of guidelines, and your realtor will have a preferred lender. So your realtor will have an idea of what their lender is generally looking for. I've seen some people say 620 in this current market. At 640, if you would like to apply for down payment assistance.
Yeah, you have some that can still do 5. I probably should have answered that question, but some that will do 580. 580 was pretty big with FHAs prior to the pandemic, and then once the pandemic hit, it kind of shut that down for a while. But I do know some lenders are still going back to being able, and we will have lenders. So Miles, just so you'll know, we're going to have our loan officers here next week that are going to basically do the same thing that Dolores is doing today and give more of an in-depth of some of these things. But yes, 580, 640 is, of course, your credit score is going to affect interest rates and down payment, all of that stuff. So the stronger you are credit-wise, the better they can shape your loan. Yeah,
and
they can shape your loan.
Between FHA and conventional. So that's why I always tell my clients, let's at least shoot for 640. When we do our initial one-on-one, no reputable credit repair person either ever guarantee you a point increase or tell you timeline. But can you get to a 640 or higher? Can I tell you what my client's average score is? Absolutely. So I always shoot above and beyond. Let's do what we do to put you in a position where you have options, because options are nice. And it depends about how much of a home you qualify for. So I always tell at a minimum we're going to 640, especially if you need down payment assistance. But there are 580.
A person that Dolores is working, one of my clients. Dolores, use an example for Tiffany, what you're doing with her, how her score has increased so drastically.
With Tiffany, it was a matter of two things. We had to do some credit building, and so I referred her to two credit cards. So listen, in the comments, if you guys, if you don't have credit, if you don't have positive credit, because it's a balancing act. You got to get rid of the negative. You got to add the positive. How about there is a card out there that is so insane that it's free. It's not credit score driven, and it doesn't even require a deposit. But you can only do one thing with it, and that's pay a subscription. So you can pay your Hulu, your Netflix, Amazon Prime. There's no way to get into trouble with this credit card. That's what I want from my clients. Let's have the credit reporting, but let's not make it messy. So we did that with Tiffany, in addition to a combination of compliance-based disputes and factual disputing. And Tiffany has only been my computer up. I'm sorry for getting away. Again, I'm not guaranteeing anybody's timelines, but if you listen to what I say and embrace it, the average turnaround, which I can talk about, I can talk about my results. The average turnaround has been about 90 days. Tiffany started with me in June and in the high 600. She's knocking on the 700 club door. And so we're going to update her in July. I believe she's ready to go by next month. And in that time,
Her score was increasing drastically for whatever the steps that Dolores had told her to do. She was on it. So it is key for, whoever your credit restoration person is that you're working with, is to do the steps that they're telling you to do. They can't guarantee it, but it definitely has helped Tiffany credit drastically increase in a little bit of time. But just by, like Dolores said, the credit card thing, just paying prescriptions made her score go up higher very quickly. So the key things that Dolores is saying is about, make sure you pay your stuff on time. And for me, for a prime example, I closed out a business credit card. I don't know. I had two of the same credit cards and I closed one of them out. Saying I don't need two cards from the same company. I closed one out and I shouldn't have. It dropped my score 20 points. 20 points. So I'm like 780 now, but still it dropped my score 20 points. But I was like, I don't need two cards in the same company. But just know that the tips that she's sharing, that definitely will help you build your credit, and just being knowledgeable about your debt and credit. And I lost my train of thought. That happens when you're 54 years old. So, okay.
I think a lot of people don't realize that, though, that when you close your credit cards, that it can have a negative effect on your score. I think which is why I always, tell people, talk to your lender, talk to your credit coach, because people just think, oh, they're trying to do the right thing, but I'm gonna pay this credit card off and then I'm gonna close the account. But then they close it and then the credit gets hit. And it's like, oh Lord. But it's like this is why we're doing stuff like this today and every week that we've done it in the month of June, is because a lot of things you just don't know. And when you know better, you do better. And a lot of people don't know that when you close that card, it's best to just, like you say, have that zero balance, keep it and hang on to it versus closing it out. But people just don't know that. So that's a good point.
And that's the thing I wanted to say too, was that it's the old way, the way it used to be, you have no credit. That's the best credit. That makes your credit score go up, no credit. But now things have changed that you have to have credit. You have to have debt in some form of, I mean, I say debt, but they want you to make sure that you have something on your credit report. So if it's just you charging your gas that you use, that you, instead of using your debit card, use your credit card, and then just send the money from your debit account, your debit card, over to you, pay the credit card off. But use something to continue to have activity lines on your credit. But you definitely do need credit in this world, from jobs to, they check credit for everything now. So it's very crucial to keep your credit up. And some lenders, I know my lender, even if you have some derogatory things on your credit report that is less than like $1,500 or $2,000, they don't even count that against you if you have very old medical bills. Sometimes they won't even count that against you. So just be mindful and check your credit report on a monthly basis or every couple of months. That is crucial, because things do pop up on your credit report that you have no idea. Your identity could have been stolen and you not even know that it was, so anything's possible.
Absolutely. So the third factor is the age of your credit report. Once you really understand what they're looking for, sometimes less can be more. And so one of the things that I do when I work with my clients, I say in my credit report, I have one credit card that has a zero balance, it only has a $500 in it, and I haven't used it in probably 20 years, but my score is in the 800s. So you don't have to use the card. But what's contrary to everything people say, what's holding my score down is the fact that one credit card is 22 and a half years old.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I can put it I just let it sit there. I don't do anything with it. No other loans, no other debts. Just let that one credit card sit there. So, Diane?
We got two questions. The first one is, hey, Miles, is there a big difference between having a 750 credit score and an 800 as far as interest rate? That's the first question.
I love that question. So don't chase the perfect score. Like I have this one client. Oh, I don't understand it. She literally has about $42,000 in savings. She's got a six-figure job. She's got a 720 middle score for her mortgage. She won an 800. I told her like this: when you're in school, an A, you got a 98, you got an A. If you got a 99, you got an A. If you got 100, you got an A, right? An A is an A. Same thing with your credit score. The person with the 640, the person with the 680 is probably going to get the same term because there's not that much difference. Maybe when you get into the 700s, you might start things like a lower interest rate, or they might be able to remove the PMI on the loan. Again, that's a great question for your lender, but what I tell all my clients is don't change the score, because every action is going to impact the score. If you make a payment or charge, it's going to affect the score. If you open or close an account, it's going to affect it. If you inquire for something, if everything is always fluid. And so throughout the entire application process, they are constantly behind the scenes updating your credit report, updating your bank statement, and confirming that you're still employed. So again, once you get the score and the terms make sense to you, they're giving you enough money to buy the house that you want, or in the neighborhood or the area that you want to live in, lock in that rate. If nothing else, maybe you can buy down the interest rate to make the loan more affordable. Mm-hmm. But personally, I would never tell somebody to wait for ideal situation. What they think is ideal. It's in the Bible that says, "He who regards to win will never sow." So if you're waiting for everything to be perfect or to go back to what it was, we don't know what's going to happen with this market. But the one thing that we do know is if you are sitting in front of a loan officer who has told you you're approved and we can give you, a loan, go find your house. So I wouldn't. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. The second question was, how does someone with no credit begin to establish credit?
Send me a message and I'll send you the link for 2 products that I always have. You don't have to be my client. I'm just going to send you. The first is the one that I told you about that all you can do with it is just pay a subscription. And then the second one is going to be a secured card. But it's not enough just to have the card. If you don't have any credit card debt, whoever asked that question, please, please, please listen to me. I'm going to put a video on my Instagram page later today that's going to show 2 things. Clients that went off track. You do not have to carry debt. So once these cards, people report, pay them, and don't do anything else. Just let them sit. I promise you it will work. I promise you it will. So one of the videos that I'm going to post later today is a client that with no credit card debt and told her not to use her card, and she did. And the day that she had her mortgage application process, she used her card and her score dropped to 85 points. I'm going to show you. I blacked out all of the personal information, but I'm going to show you that the score dropped to 85 points. The second client, I told her the same thing. She literally added 2 credit cards that I'm talking about, and the score went up. I want to say it was 110 points, but it's in the video. She didn't make the payment. It was $29. She didn't make the payment. Her score dropped to 137 points. Remember, whether you make that payment or not, that payment history is worth up to 192.5 points. So when she didn't make it, that aspect, that one facet of her score, dropped 137 points.
Mm.
The other example, when she overutilized her credit card, that is worth up to 165 points because she used it after she was in the clear. Don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
She used her credit cards anyways, and her score dropped to 85 points. You have to know how to navigate each one of these 5 factors because they all have point value. So if you will message me, I will send you the 2 links for the 2 products that I recommend the most to my clients. Okay.
Okay.
So where and I think it shows up at the top too, but can you tell us or tell the viewers where you want them to message you at? Is the Instagram that you're currently on, but what is that, so I can put it in the chat as well?
It's my name, Dolores, Dolores, and then the letters TNLH, which is short for like so
Okay.
Dolores TNLH.
Okay. All right, I'll put it in there.
All right. So then the third fact is the age of your credit report. So as I was saying, I left one when I really mastered this personally. I got out of the credit game. I'm not a fan of Dave Ramsey because I think it's hypocritical that he filed for bankruptcy not once, I believe twice, but he tells people to pay off their debt. Credit repair, bankruptcy are both legal remedies, so why wouldn't you encourage someone to use them? There's no shame in it. You have to know how to come back from it, and that's one of the things that I focus in on. So when I really understood, but the one thing that Dave Ramsey said that I aspired to, he said, I have a 0 credit score. And I know that sounds crazy, but in my mind, I was like, okay, that's a goal, because it meant to me that he didn't have any debt. So I understood implications of not taking out any loans and letting them pay off. But as I said, I maintained that one credit card from Greenwood Credit Union in Warwick, Rhode Island, $500 limit. I opened it 22 and a half years ago. I promise you, if you ask me, I will show you my credit report. I just let it sit there. I don't even know where the card is. But today. The fourth factor is inquiry. I saw someone on Instagram hyping. I don't hype. I just give it to you free. I saw someone on Instagram hyping people up. I think it was for $400, he would delete the inquiries on your credit report. So let me tell you about inquiries. They stay on your credit report for 24 months. Why? Because your credit report is talking about you. And the people that you want to do business with should know who else have you wanted to do business with. And so that's why you have hard inquiries and soft inquiries. So he was charging $400 to delete the hard inquiry. The difference, the thing is that out of the 24 months, months 1 through 12 is where that inquiry counts. That's when they're taking points away from you. But after month 13, it's water under the bridge. It's factual information. It's what had happened. December 2021, Dolores applied at 8 credit card. It's history. But months 1 through 12 shows the window where you're actively trying to obtain credit. And that's what affects you. So in addition to, again, not promising my clients results, but I go after inquiries when I work for them. I tell them, don't apply for anything else. Don't get caught up in these groups. Don't listen to anybody. I may even have an example of a client who opened an account that we didn't talk about and the impact that it has on credit. So I'm going to see if I can find that as well. But there are 3 times really when you should be applying for credit. Credit was meant to be approved. So this is what I say to my clients when I work with them one-on-one. Everybody got teeth. Let me see you smile. Bye, ladies.
Oh,
Where's your toothbrush? I know that sounds crazy, but where's your toothbrush? Just because you don't walk around all the time brushing them, how come every time you go to make a move, you got to swipe a card? That's a whole. And you shouldn't have to always be applying for credit in order to manage your life. So 3 times that you should really be creating inquiries is for things that you can't pay cash for. Most people can't buy a house or a car or go to school and earn a degree. So on the scoring algorithm, inquiries can be worth up to 55 points. So if you're still doing the math, remember, basic 300, 192.5 for payment history, 155 for credit inquiry, 55 points, 82.5 points for letting it grow up, and 55 points for inquiry. So on the scale, if you want to get the whole 55 points, the most you should have is maybe 1 to 2 inquiries. After that, it starts going down because it's a tool, and like any other tool, you have to understand how to use it properly. The 5th and final factor is also worth 55 points. So if you're adding everything up, we're now at 850 points. It's the perfect score, but don't chase the score. Once you get the number to do what you need, pull the trigger. So with final factor, it's the type of account and the quality and the number of accounts that you have. So if your credit report is all top heavy, they want to see a variety. They want to see retail cards at Macy's, JCPenney, Lowe's, Home Depot. They want to see credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American. But they want to see some type of a loan. Now, there's enough ways to build those kinds of accounts without going out and getting heavily into debt. Because here's the thing, the algorithm doesn't know whether you owe $1 or $100,000. It's only adding, do you have this factor? How is this particular factor functioning? Does that make sense? Are you paying everything on time? Are you keeping your balances low? Are you letting your credit account mature? Are you outpacing after credit? And do you have a variety? If the answer to that is yes, that's how you get to 50. Now, full disclosure, in all of my years working for the credit counseling service, I have one client that I saw in 50. And that's what, I'm on here and I'm giving credit advice and I'm talking to people. I'm helping them with debt management plans and coaching them through bankruptcy. It really made me stop and think about, how do you get an 850? So I went back to my source. God, how do you get an 850? And I started doing research and it started making sense. And I was like, how do you teach to people so that they understand, so that it also makes sense to them? And that's why I went to the business, and that's why I went to the business. Do those 5 things. Ma'am.
Got a question for you. They're asking, Diane with Delicious Delights wants to know, do you have this skill somewhere we can print it out?
I don't. I usually, I'm giving you generic information, but what you need are specifics. So when I work with my clients, I pull up their credit report. We're going to talk specifically about you, because sometimes well-intended people who may be knowledgeable, but they've never studied or evaluated the credit report, like I was saying with that young lady, she heard if you open an account. I am not a fan of self. I'm not a fan of self, and I'm not a fan of Experian Boost. Why? To get the name. Experian. Only going to show on one credit report. So why are we doing that? So when I work with my client, and you don't necessarily need credit repair, again, because I do budget and credit as well. And it's a 2-hour session. There'll be 2 of us. We're going to slow it down. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to have you do something. Calculate some numbers. You have an opportunity just the two of us to ask questions, and by the time you get off, it will make sense. And I say 2 hours, but the beauty of being self-employed is if you need 3 hours, then we're going to go 3 hours, whatever it takes. Because if I had known some of this stuff long before my hair turned gray, oh my,
Right. Absolutely.
it would be a whole different lifestyle.
Oh my gosh.
And it's hard. It shouldn't be this hard.
Right.
So I don't have it written down, but I go through it and I match your specific credit report. I'm going to tell you because I don't know which of you ladies said it. You don't need a squeaky clean credit report to get approved for a mortgage. You need a credit report that makes sense. So if you're coming to me with a goal, I'm going to tell you why we're going to touch something, why we're going to leave some things alone. And then as we work